Julie, if we could, just sit tight here, because you might want to weigh in on the next story. I know you were working on CMS today,
Yeah.
And you were not specifically working on this story, but we've just received multiple reporting at this time regarding former North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, apparently expected to announce his campaign for North Carolina Senate. This is according to, now, like we said, multiple reports. We've got Axios reporting this, Politico as well. According to the Politico report, two people directly familiar with the former governor's decision says this announcement could come as soon as Monday. And there's been a lot of talk about, actually for a while at this point, about the potential of Roy Cooper entering this race. And, another twist here was the fact that we learned in recent weeks that the incumbent Republican Senator Thom Tillis decided and announced here that he's not going to be seeking re-election. So, this is definitely a race that's going to be a high-profile one. A lot of eyeballs, probably a lot of money.
Yeah.
Julie, I know that you've covered some of the Tillis stuff, that we've reported on recently. What can you say or share about the storylines that we're watching here in general?
This is going to be, I'm not surprised to hear that former Governor Cooper is allegedly going to get in on this race. It's something we've been talking about for a while. I am curious to see how that campaign, if it's announced, will be focused. This will be an interesting run in particular because Thom Tillis, as you mentioned, is stepping down. He is one of a few senators who has more publicly challenged the Trump administration, of course, after he announced he was no longer running. But I do think it's going to be interesting because we do have potentially Laura Trump getting in on this race. And so I think we were not just expecting Cooper to do this because, there had just been that concept floated. He was obviously a very popular governor for the most part, as far as that can go in a swing state like this. But to have, you mentioned money being thrown around, to have potentially a Trump in this race as well, you got to have a big name. Otherwise, right now, I know we have Wiley Nickel in the race. He's another Democrat. He had been talking about this campaign for a while. He was the first to announce his candidacy. He, of course, a former U.S. congressman who did not run for re-election because his district was gerrymandered, and he said, there's really no point in me running. This district is no longer going to go my way. So a couple interesting, loud voices in the mix that I think will make this race particularly interesting. But once we get that Cooper nomination official or candidacy official, it'll be interesting to see what we hear from Laura Trump.
Yeah, definitely. We've talked about the fact too, and even have done reporting on eligibility here with her.
Yes.
She's a Wilmington native, so she is originally from North Carolina, but does not currently live in North Carolina. And there's actually a deadline, I believe, that she would have to move back here to the Tar Heel state to be able to run if she wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do believe that time is ticking. I think September is the time she'd have to have some sort of address here. Whether or not that means she lives here full time is up for debate, but she'd have to have some form of residency here very, very soon, if that is the case. So I'll be interested to see what happens. We haven't heard either way on that side, but it sounds like that would be a very popular choice for the Republicans here in North Carolina. If that happens, this is going to be a very interesting state to watch. Of course, Thom Tillis, as I mentioned, a Republican, but this is seen kind of nationwide as one of those flippable seats. Throwing a former governor and a Trump into this race makes it for something of nationwide, I think, interest.
Yeah, certainly I would see, you mentioned the term flippable. That Democrats would probably be salivating over the possibility of flipping this seat. And folks have, who are in the political circles have spoken highly of Governor Cooper. We've heard in some ways about his ability to kind of work in a purple state, if you will, across the aisle. So, I can see how Democrats could potentially be like, yeah, this is our guy. If he does announce, once again, this is, it hasn't officially been, it's not official yet. Julie, thank you.
Yes,
I know we